Good morning, you guys. Well, almost afternoon. How are you? Thank you for being here. I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about the mass third eye awakening that has already occurred. And many of you are probably aware of it, and many of you are maybe still clueless to what it was. But I'm going to explain it here the best way I can. And a lot of the conspiracy that surrounds certain things, um, are going to be discussed. Also, I'm going to have to use a little bit of code language so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. So y'all will get it. Y'all will get it. Don't worry. So if you missed my video last night about third eye, how to open it, and all that kind of good stuff, the science and all that kind of stuff behind how to open your third eye is on the video I did last night, is linked in the description so that you can catch up. But first, I'll do a quick talk about how it is activated, and then you're going to be able to put one and two together, okay? So your pineal gland or your third eye is opened or activated when pressure is applied to your pineal gland, whether it be through extensive breath work by breathing in very deep through your nostrils, putting pressure on your pineal gland, which expands it and pushes a liquid into your brain to activate the crystals in your pineal gland to make your frequency higher, or your torus field higher and larger, so that you're more aware of everything inside as well as out. Okay, that's also 4D and 5D experiences. So everything that's inside of you, fears, paranoias, bad things and good things, confidence and all that kind of stuff, are going to be pushed out for you to see in the real world. Okay. So everything that you experience in the normal is going to be amplified. Okay. Physically and mentally and spiritually. It's going to be amplified. So if you're afraid of everything, you're going to have a lot of fear when your third eye is open. If you're not afraid of everything, you're going to be very fearless. Okay. If you're healthy, you're going to be more healthy. If you take care of yourself, you're going to be, practicing more self-care. Now, if it's the opposite is going to reveal itself. If you're sick, all your illnesses and things like that are going to be shown to you. If you have underlying conditions and, this happens to you, you're going to experience, that times 10. Okay, so if y'all can already guess what the mass third eye opening was, y'all can put it in the comments if you want, but I'm getting ready to get into it. So your pineal gland or your third eye is activated when pressure is applied to it. And your pineal gland is right here, right above your nose. Okay. So the mass third eye awakening happened a couple of years ago. It started first with the breath work, having to breathe in deeply, taking more breaths with the, face coverings. When your face and nose are covered, you have to breathe deeper. That's normal, right? You can't just take normal breaths because the mask is in your way. So you definitely have to breathe a little bit deeper. Okay, yeah. And so, especially when you're walking around a lot and doing activities, you're going to be breathing deeper, especially kids in school, people that have to work or walk around. And then there was, something where, if you were, activated, um, this torus field would amplify all of your, issues, physical, mental, and spiritual. Remember that. So if you had a low, what do you call it? If you had, I'm trying to think of two things at once, but if you had a low immune system, that's going to be even, lower. It's going to get even lower. You know what I'm saying? If you had a high immune system, it's going to get even higher. So This is why they isolated a lot of people during this time, because it's best to be alone and your frequency needs to only kind of be around you and people like you. Okay. So, um, and sometimes, when people were given certain tests, you know, their, pressure was also applied, through the nostrils and up into, close to your brain, putting pressure on a certain point to release certain liquids and chemicals to open your third eye. Okay, so this was done in a mass way throughout probably the world. And so now that that was activated, a lot of people started getting, side effects, or they started having all this, anxiety or fears. There was a lot of people that committed suicide. There was a lot of people that divorced or, found their true love. So it was good and bad. But a lot of people that we lost during this mass third eye awakening, they were literally, and I don't mean to be mean, or if anyone lost anyone, my condolences, but this is just the science and the metaphysics of it. Whatever was underlying was amplified. Okay, so if you didn't take care of yourself, if you didn't eat healthy, if you had problems that you couldn't afford to fix medically, or if you didn't pay attention to your health, all of that bad health within you amplified, and your immune system, if it was already low because you didn't practice healthy habits, then it was even worse. So it got rid of a lot of people who were vibrating on a lower frequency, who had not, you know, taken care of themselves. They didn't have enough. Sometimes it had to do with poverty. If you didn't have enough money to take care of yourself, or if you were working so much that you didn't have time or the money. So those people who took care of themselves and valued their health and balanced themselves out, and also younger people that have stronger immune systems, were most likely to make it through that shift. Okay. Um, Someone said spiritual warfare. Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that the mass third eye awakening has been, I don't think it's warfare. What it is, because there were so many warnings, there were so many people telling you that it was coming, it was coming, it was coming. And no one thought it would come in the form that it came in. Okay. Um, so, like a thief in the night. Um, Occult knowledge means hidden. So it's going to come in a hidden way. It's not going to be right. It's going to be in your face, but also hidden at the same time. So that's what it was. Um, and wearing your mask, getting your tests to activate that pineal gland, experiencing all that people experienced as well. Then, after all of that died down, they wanted to give you something to prevent you from spreading it or getting it, right? So, they want to stick you. And that also, represented, I think a lot of people were given things that they may not even know what it was. It could have been some, mass government experiment or something else, or a placebo, who knows. Some people got this, some people got that. It could have been different genetics. It could have been whatever. We don't know. And the only thing, that would prevent someone from having to do those types of things are the awareness, the spiritual knowledge, and not having to work for people that, require you to have certain things done. Okay, so those would be the free people that did not have to succumb to a system. Okay. So these would be people that did not have to join a system. And so if you also can relate this to revelations in the Bible if you choose to, or many other, prophecies of end of time prophecies. Okay. So yeah, I got my new cam, y'all. I'm upgraded. Got me a new fake background and everything. So, so it happened right in front of your eyes already. And the keeping you in the house is to make you deal with your own issues and problems alone or with close family members so that you're not, lashing out at the world, and also getting alone and facing yourself, because we are our own judge. We are the judge of ourselves. And what's within will also be revealed. It's all will be revealed. That's why they call it revelations. And it also goes with the Taurus field. It revolves and reveals. What's inside will be outside, and what's outside will be inside, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So this is why they call the new metaverse, because it's beyond, and it's literally the metaphysics and the spiritual is all coming outside of the self and being revealed to us. And it is literally a metaverse that's happening right now. And so when you have that awareness and that knowledge, the first thing you're going to do when your third eye opens, you're not going to panic. You're not going to think you're going crazy. You're going to know exactly what it is. And you're going to stay calm. And whatever state that you are at that particular time is going to amplify. So if you are well researched, you're going to be a researcher. If you're confident, you're going to have more confidence. If you're an artist, you're going to become more creative. If you're, this and that. But if you have a lot of negative traits, those are also going to be amplified. So that's what the whole the great work and self-work is about, so that at any time our frequency, and our third eye was activated through a mass awakening, man-made mass awakening. Also, there's also conspiracies that it could actually be a cover up for just amplifying the frequencies of a certain land, through 5G towers, of course. So the frequency also could have been amplified throughout the land for 5G or 6G towers or whatever. And you know if you do the science behind 5G and all that kind of stuff, that it causes certain things. So your electromagnetic field around your body is now being met with all these frequencies from 5G, right? And they can turn that up or down. They can turn it all the way up at one time, and everyone will experience something. And whatever that is, it's to create the larger torus field around your body, where all the good and bad comes out and you have to face it. So it's like a cleansing or a purge or a rapture of a large group of people, whether it be worldwide or certain areas or countries that are experiencing it. So I think most of the world went through the whole third eye mass awakening. And now a lot of people are now suffering because they didn't know what it was. They may have thought they got ill or sick. They may have thought that they went a little bit cuckoo, or had some anxiety, or went crazy, or needed professional help from like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But really what happened is their third eye opened and they had no idea. So a lot of the things that happen to you when your third eye opens sound like mental illness, but it is not, if you know what you're dealing with. But if you have no clue, then you will think that something is wrong. If you are a religious fanatic, that's going to be amplified. Your fears that surround religion are going to be amplified. That's why you see a lot of people running back to Jesus and God, who had left the church prior or left religion altogether. You're going to see a lot of people running back to God. You're going to see a lot of people going to spirituality or practicing witchcraft. So you're going to see a large influx in spiritual, practices. hmm In 2020, yes. So that's what happened in 2020. The mass third eye opening through putting pressure on the pineal gland, um, and also making you breathe and inhale deeper by covering your face. Okay. So this happened, and a lot of people started having higher anxiety. They started getting more medicated mentally, because they didn't know what was going on with them. So a lot of you guys who have suffered from whatever bipolar disorder, anxiety, fears, paranoia, that was due to your third eye opening and you just had no idea. And so the medical industry and the industry that makes money off of medicating you or allowing you to think that something is wrong with you are not going to tell you this because that's how they get that's how they get their money. So you have all these new apps popping up with online therapy and people that you can talk to if you have anxiety and da 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 after this because people don't have a way to deal with it. So if I were to tell people, you know what, you need to think more positive and you need to accept all of your flaws and you need to love yourself and you need to be confident, all of that would have been amplified if we had loved ourselves. Okay. All of that would have been amplified and we would have been living the best life ever. I often have said that, those years were some of the best years because I was amplified as well because my third eye was open and I was feeling like so good because that's how I think and feel. And I try to practice that daily, even before all of this happened. So that was literally amplified. But you have a lot of people that walk around suffering, thinking about, the past or negative things. And that was also amplified. This is why a lot of people can't get over the past. Because if you couldn't get over the past before, that would be super amplified during that time. So it would be very hard to get over things or forgive or get past something as well. And now a lot of people are calling this phase the healing phase. I would not call it the healing phase personally because I don't like that word when it comes to the spiritual and the metaphysical. I believe that it is an awareness phase. You are aware of everything and now you can do better, or you can accept what you need to accept and be past it. Okay. So yeah, if you can accept what, you know, what you are and get past it, then great. You'll be able to do that much easier in the future. Yeah, you said you felt horrible and you had to do a lot of self work and accepting of self. Exactly. That's what it will make you do. So you saw a lot of women run out to get surgery during this time because they were unhappy with themselves. And that unhappiness was magnified when the third eye was activated. And so every flaw looked super bad to them. And so a lot of women would run out and get this surgery. They would get all this stuff done to them and, blah, 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 blah. And, walk around looking like an ant body, even though, they didn't need it. They were perfectly, fine the way that they were. They would run out and just get it because they were super insecure about what they looked like and they weren't happy um, with themselves internally or physically. So instead of accepting themselves and loving the body that they have, they changed it. So a lot of people broke up during this time and a lot of people got closer because it amplified the issues in the relationship. And some people had to get through the certain issues in order to realize that, okay, this is the relationship I want, but we have to get through these issues. And the issues are going to be magnified a lot. And if we can get through it, then great. If we can't, then, you leave. So I know a lot of people that, went through relationship issues and now they're either remarried or divorced, broken up, or came out the closet or something, or met someone new, you know, because when your third eye is open, your magnetic field, electromagnetic field is larger. And so if you're a good person and if you are kind and loving, if you meet someone, then they're going to see that amplified. They're going to feel that amplified with you. So if you had met someone during this time and you fell head over heels in love, or you had a strong connection or a strong feeling or a strong lust or whatever, it will feel like, wow, it's everything was amplified. So if you had an experience during that time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just as it could be bad, it could also be very good. You might have think you found the one, but it was just, you know, all their good traits were just amplified, and that's what you got. That's what you saw. So a lot of people fell in love during this time, or a lot of people got together, or a lot of people had some great friendships and things like that. But also, you know, the bad parts of those people also were going to show eventually, because it's a revolving Taurus field. So you may have met someone that was great or whatever, and but once their anxiety or the bad side of themselves started appearing and coming out, you may or may not have accepted it. You know. Oh, thank you so much, Caesar Sprinkle Sprinkle. Thank you for another great live stream. I appreciate you. Thank you for the sprinkle sprinkle. So that does explain a lot, because I have a lot of ladies on my other channel who have met someone and it was great, and then all of a sudden everything went wrong, or communication was cut off or something like that. So if the person was not a great communicator, that was also going to be amplified. They might have been a great everything, but maybe when it comes to communication, they were bad at it, and so the communication was amplified. The bad communication was amplified. I mean, during that time, the term ghost, like I was ghosted, started to really become popular, because people would just ghost another person. Because, after a certain period of time, you may see the great in people, but then you see their flaws and stuff amplified as well. So a lot of people were just like, bye, I can't do this. And, their communication skills are not that good. And so that's the method that they chose. And literally, it means I'm transitioning out of your life because I don't like your frequency, or I don't like this, the frequency amplified that you are showing me. Okay. You said then the stalkers. Yes, if you have people in your world, in your life, that are very concerned with all your details and things like that, that also will be amplified. So whatever you were dealing with at that time, the people that you were dealing with at that time were going to be amplified. So just make sure when you think about it or remember it, it's going to make more sense to you now. You're going to be like, oh, that's what was going on, so you can't really be that upset about certain things, because now you understand that everyone's third eye, or most people's third eye, were unknowingly, massively, on a large scale, was activated. And they didn't know what they were experiencing. They were just trying to deal with it the best way they could. I would call that literally judgment, because they judged themselves and then they were judged by others around them. Okay. Yeah, 2020 was weird. Exactly. And, during that time, we also had the BLM, the Black Lives Matter situation. Um, and that was like a collective of all the issues, especially in America, that have been held and pressed down and suppressed for a long time. And it literally exploded into, the physical as a protest, as, an awakening and an awareness of everything that had been, suppressed for a long time. So that came out. And I feel like you said the judgment card is in the tarot is 20, exactly 2020. Thank you, Nikki. So yes, the whole 2020 and going into 2021, up until recently, people's most repressed and all their flaws, even in the country, was revealed. So that's what happened there. It had to be revealed in order to be dealt with and reconciled. The- Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Cersei Sun. Okay. Hi, Shira. So I asked to borrow money from a man. He gave it to me, but what excuse? Okay, this is the wrong channel, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Catch me on my other channel or write me on the Patreon for that channel. When you click on my videos, make sure that you're watching the name of the video and understand that you need to stick to the subject. Thank you for the donation. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, right in your city, Minneapolis. And that means like what? That's one of the twin cities. Um, and it also represents some type of like the name Minneapolis. I think it means something like water or something type of water. Um, so that's interesting, the liquid and the water and the frequency and all that kind of stuff. Yes, please stick to the channel topic. Thank you. And remember what channel you clicked on. Thank you. You said, was the George Floyd thing a distraction? It was, I feel like, okay, so a lot of people don't realize like when your third eye is open, and plus, if you are very aware and you pay very close attention to detail and you know a lot about a lot of things that most people don't, you're going to see more than the news shows you, and you're going to see more than most people. So a lot of people with heightened awareness found too many flaws in what happened with, yeah, the George Floyd, but you can't really talk about that because, since it is historically recorded and massively believed, that is enough to be able to sue a person for, saying that something is not what it is. Okay. So, in order to protect ourselves, we have to pretend that what was saw on the news and what was said is true. So we're going to have to accept certain things, whether we believe it or not, in the public. But in our own minds and our own opinions, we can have whatever opinions that we have. And if you have, a large, you know, frequency and you can see through a lot of things, then you know exactly what happened. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So, getting people in their emotions during that time also allowed people to get all of that pent up energy and anger out and express it. And yes, it was a ritual. It was a ritual to expose the anger, the frustration, and all of that and amplify it. Okay. And as you see, it erupted a lot in a major way than it would have normally a couple of years before that. So let's go back to like 2018 when the same sorts of things were happening. it did not explode into a mass, nationwide, worldwide phenomena of, Black Lives Matter. People were just upset. Nothing really happened on the massive scale as it did in 2020 or 2021. Okay. Because everything was amplified, everything. So, what was normally brushed under the rug or given like, only a little bit of attention was now the front headline worldwide and, showing out in a massive way. So, that was um, part of that, yes. Because when you have a country that was built on racism, that is part of its history and what it has been, suppressing for a long time. And so that had to come out during that massive third eye awakening in order to move forward. Okay, you said that was rough for you. 2021 was rough for you. You were shedding so many layers. Yes. So now I think we're getting to a place where everything is starting to be and feel a little bit normal, and but you still have that awareness and you still have that knowledge and you still have that self awareness, so what happened and why things were the way they were. um Now you said the clarity, exactly. So if you are one of those people that this happened to and you had no idea what was happening to you, you maybe thought you were having mental issues or going crazy. You were not. You're okay. You never were. Okay. So if I suggest if you guys ran to get mental help and got on a bunch of medications, I suggest that you be reevaluated with this new knowledge that and see if you still need to be on those medications or still feel the same way you do. Okay. Oh, facts. Hearing you speak is like wearing those sunglasses from the movie They Live. The world's scams are bring are being to witness. Thank you, Shira. Oh, I appreciate you, Caesar. So yes, that's exactly what it's like. It's like putting on a pair of glasses and seeing everything very clearly. Now, um, I never went, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys, I never got tested. I never got stuck, and I barely wore that mask. Okay. My third eye was open before that. So I could see what that was. Okay. Because it was already open. I will repeat that. My third eye was already open before 2020. So when I saw the things that were happening, with the facial masks and the testing, I already knew what was going down. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let nobody do that to me. I mean, unless I do it to myself, which is opening my own third eye. You're not going to force my third eye open. It's already open anyway. That's why I see you. That's how I was feeling about it. And they just bombard you with news and they throw fear. They were throwing massive fear at the public during this time to heighten your fear, to where so many people got depressed, so many people couldn't leave their house, so many people developed anxiety, so many people committed suicide, so many people, did all kind of crazy stuff. Because of the media, they were definitely pushing fear. And then the people and the voices that were wanting to express the truth or give their opinion, they were shut down. A lot of people were censored at this time who were telling y'all the truth. The people that wanted to tell y'all the truth, their accounts on Twitter and whatever were snatched. That's one of the reasons why Elon Musk bought Twitter and gave everyone back their freedom of speech, because it was taken literally, because people wanted to see exactly what would happen if a mass group of people, especially in America, would be fed fear. What would they do with that? What was going to happen? And so that's what I call the real purge. And there were many many ways to combat a lot of the people from even experiencing a lot of the symptoms that would lead to whatever. And they wouldn't allow you to even say that. They would label it as misinformation. Okay, because what they wanted you to do was experience yourself with the knowledge that you currently had already, and to see what type of person you are. Are you affected by the media? Do you look for the media as a source of truth? And if so, good luck to you. You know, they were seeing who would be able to make it through without, you know, any flaws, any blemishes. And a lot of people did. And there were always clues and hints dropped prior, and people just didn't pay attention or they weren't aware. And the people that weren't aware, if they sought out information, or people who were aware, they got some information as well that could help them. But a lot of people, especially older people, sadly, who depend on news sources for their truth and information, they fell for a lot of the okey doke, and they probably suffered for it. Okay. And a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people quit their jobs because they didn't want to be forced to take, to get stuck. And a lot of people started businesses as well. So there's a good side to this as well. You start a business, you start making your own money, you have no boss, no one can tell you what to do. You don't have to get stuck if you don't want to. Okay. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Your youngest fan, my daughter has your gifts. I was going nuts, just lost your mother and recovering. I'm so sorry, Sprinkle Sprinkle. I'll appreciate it, okay? Tell her thank you. My elixir saved your life. Well, I'm so glad that those elixirs helped you, Goddess Wild Red. So, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Um, yeah. Your ex-husband forced you to get the jab. You regret it because I never got you never got the vid. No one can force you to do anything. Like, that's another thing. That was another test, in my opinion. No one can force you to do anything. They can't force you. They can't put a gun to your head and say, you know what, you better do this. Because we always have our free will. And I'm sorry you felt forced and felt that you didn't have a choice, but we always have a choice. So I never even got tested, y'all. None of my kids got tested. I didn't get tested, and that's why we're good. You got a lot of these youngsters who ran out and got tested. Now they acting all crazy and doing weird stuff, and being depressed and all this kind of stuff, and having a social anxiety and this and that, because they were activated without their consent. And when you sign that paper to activate your pineal gland, which is the test, when they stick something up your nose and put pressure right there against where your pineal gland is and your third eye is, it definitely opened it. So I never got tested. I never did any of the stuff that they were telling you to do. I was already prepared because, first of all, I was very healthy. My immune system was super high already, and so with my children. And so we got through it with no issue, no test, no nothing. Period. No fear. In fact, we were trying to go on vacation during that time. We did not care. It was like nothing was happening to us because we were already on the frequency that we needed to be at. Okay. And luckily, I was aware enough to have prepared and to be smart enough not to have any type of fear or go run and do something because the news tells you to. Okay. The news is my last source. The news is the last thing you need to listen to when something happens, because they're not in your favor. Okay. Now, if any of y'all got tested and and you've experienced a lot of issues, that's probably why. Okay, because your third eye was activated and you didn't know. Okay. But mine was already activated, so that's how I knew before all of this. So, if you've activated your third eye before and opened it prior to 2020, you would have seen all of this as well. Um, so the good thing that happened though, we have a lot of new entrepreneurs out there, a lot of people that switch jobs or changed careers and started doing their passion again, reconnected with their inner child, from maybe being forced to be in the house for so long. Maybe they started picking up their artwork again, or a hobby that they had left behind, and really got to know themselves again and what truly makes them happy. So a lot of good also came out of this massive third eye awakening that was disguised as something else. Okay. You said you work in healthcare and never got tested. That's good. You quit your job. It was a great time for you. See? Hmm. So, that's what it was. And a lot of us got through it just fine. A lot of us didn't know what was happening. And now that there's clarity and people understand, um, what had happened, now you can prepare yourself for the future. Okay. So here's what I'm saying. In order to get certain types of technology, in order to know certain things and create certain things, the frequency of the planet has to be raised. And if the frequency of the planet is raised by the people, if your frequency is raised, if your third eye is activated and your frequency is now enlarged on a massive scale, millions of people's frequencies were enlarged when they got that test, right? Unless they were already awakened. That means the world frequency also got bigger. Okay. So if the people frequency got bigger due to a massive third eye awakening, due to getting tested and their pineal gland being activated with a cotton swab, um, then the entire earth got to a larger dimension or a higher vibration and shifted into 4D, 5D. That's why a lot of y'all are seeing synchronicities. That's why a lot of y'all are experiencing, manifestation at very easy, you know, rate. That's why a lot of y'all are, living your dream life, driving your dream car, living your dream house, because prior to 2020, you were putting in that work. You were manifesting, you were making your, manifestation books and journals and vision boards and all that kind of stuff. You were eating healthy. You were taking care of yourself. You were practicing self care. You were building your confidence. You were watching my channel. And when your third eye got activated, you basically experienced a multiplied version of all that positivity and all that work, that good work you put in, and it paid off. Okay. Because a lot of people got paid during this time and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people lost. And so this is also why they were distributing them checks from the government, because they know what they did. They know you couldn't focus on anything with your third eye activated. They know you couldn't go to work. They know you had to stay home, so they gave you a little check. Okay? A little stimulus. And what is a stimulus? What is a stimulant? What does a stimulant do? You see, you got to read between the lines. So they stimulated, activated your pineal gland into a larger frequency. And you were unable to go to work because they knew you wouldn't be productive when your third eye was activated. Not most people. So they go ahead and gave you a little check to, keep your rent and your lights on or whatnot. Or, you see, I mean, a lot of people didn't, but a lot of people did. So, and prior to 2020, That government shutdown was practice. That government shutdown was practice for people who were employed um, to find and look for different types of work, because you can't depend on, a system as much as you can depend on yourself. So a lot of people didn't really peep that because they didn't work for the government. But then when the whole, vid hit, everybody couldn't work, or they had to work from home, or they lost their job, or businesses shut down. A lot of businesses lost their business. A lot of people lost their business during that time because no one could go out. So this then made people have to start businesses online. It created, more deliveries, more apps so you could have things delivered to your house without having to face people. It created a lot of people, working online and communicating via, the metaverse or virtually. So it increased the a number of businesses online. And so you don't have to leave your house to make money. A lot of people started making money without even, doing much, because they had to figure something out. They were forced to think of ways to, get paid without leaving their home. They were forced, literally. And companies were forced to also create a way to work from home, and also to go to school from home. Um, so all of that occurred. And when the massive third eye awakening happened, a lot of people who thought that they went mentally ill started making all these videos on mental illness, mental care, take care of your mental, unknowing that their third eye had been unknowingly activated, and there was nothing wrong with them at all. You know, all these people felt like something was wrong with them. There was nothing wrong with you. And they also wanted you to either reject that or embrace that. A lot of people embraced their mental illness and took it and wore it as a badge or a way to deal with what they were going through. But in my opinion, I learned to never take a label unless you create it for yourself. Okay. Never take a label unless you give that label to yourself or create it for yourself. Because if there's a way to take advantage of people and get their money, it definitely is going to be done. Okay. Um, so y'all need to reevaluate if y'all were victims of, thinking that something was wrong with you mentally. Y'all need to evaluate your mental, and remember that people will get your money if you give it to them. This is why I don't believe in mental illness. Exactly. But a lot of people like to hang on to mental illness because they don't want to look into other forms of knowledge to see what really is going on. So, they tend to stick to what doctors and the professionals say, instead of how they feel and what is spiritually and metaphysically happening to them. You know. Okay. You said Erica Badu song "Out My Mind" just in time. Yeah. See, she probably definitely knew what was happening. She probably didn't even blink an eye. She was like, I know what's going on, but I'm just gonna continue to be me. And that's exactly what I did as well. You said, what about people with dyslexia? Do you know some of the greatest geniuses of all time had dyslexia? That's where I believe it. Okay. Einstein had dyslexia. Da Vinci had dyslexia. Everyone that we look everyone that we look at as masters, most of them had dyslexia. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But they call it a disorder because they don't have the ability to see the way that certain people see. Their brains are not wired the same. ADHD. I do believe that Leonardo da Vinci had ADHD. He never finished anything, but what he did create and leave uncompleted, we were able to complete. But if he had not had ADHD, um, we wouldn't have as much knowledge as we have now. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel that a lot of people who have ADHD, they're not meant to do boring, menial tasks. They're meant to do creative things, or they're meant to see what they need to see at that time. I call it flashes and glimpses. Whatever they're focusing on at one time is what they're supposed to be focusing on at one time. If they're allowed to be in their creative instead of chained to a desk or made to do, schoolwork or homework, their ADHD would serve them. Okay. You know how they say, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. Okay. You say autism. Autism is a heightened state of awareness, a heightened state of whatever the child's environment or mental state is at the time of, um, a lot of people say that it was caused through vaccines, or, they had it from birth. So sometimes these vaccines have things in them that trigger something in one's brain and one's electromagnetic frequency. So a lot of those, a lot of those vaccines activated a part of someone's brain that maybe heightened their state of awareness to a point where they didn't want to interact with this reality because they were so enthralled in a higher reality or a different dimension, spiritually and metaphysically. Their body may be here physically, but their mind travels and their mind focuses on things because they're on a different frequency. Okay. Now, back in the old days, before there were names for these things, um, people weren't forced to do menial tasks like drones, right? And so they would be able to choose what they did for a living. And a lot of people would keep to themselves. A lot of people would, be spiritual. You have like monks who sit and meditate all day in silence. We have artists, we have craftsmen. And if you can focus on something, and do a great job at it, you can make money. There was a movie about this guy, I forgot his name, but he painted cats. And this is like in the Victorian era or shortly after, like, and he painted cats, but he was autistic. He couldn't keep a job, he could, like, he was slightly on the spectrum. And when he met this lady and she encouraged him to, do his artwork and stuff like that, he got a job just drawing and painting cats. And he made lots of money on that and got famous. And all he had to do was draw. And so you don't really need to be too focused on everything in order to be successful at one thing. So I believe that a lot of people who have autism or are on some, spectrum, they're not supposed to be doing the stuff we're doing. Okay. They're ultra focused on something, or in another dimension. Maybe they can, bring awareness to a lot of different things that we are unaware of. Their frequency is just on a higher level, and a lot of things are, not as they are to us. So I don't see them as mentally ill. I don't see mental disorders, you know. Now there are people who are born with, chromosome issues. Now that's totally different because it affects your physical. Okay. You said Lewis Wayne? Yeah, that was his name. Sprinkle Sprinkle. Yeah, that was a good movie. I think it's free on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. What if you hear voices? Um, do you know that some people hear voices, and they say, "Oh, those are spirits, those are ghosts." Some people say, "Oh, you're schizophrenic," and then some people say, "Oh, that's just people calling my name in another dimension because they're looking for me, and I'm clairaudient." You know, however you choose to listen or to label whatever it is that you're experiencing is how you will continue to experience it. I will repeat that. However you label what it is you're hearing or experiencing is how you will continue to experience it. So, for example, if you hear somebody calling your name or if you're hearing voices and stuff like that, okay, well, shoot, I must be famous in another life and they calling my name while I walk down the street. Or someone's looking for me because they can't find me because I'm elsewhere. And so my frequency is just so high, I'm just hearing in another dimension. I hope you find me over there, sprinkle, sprinkle. Or if you look at it as spirits, you could say, yeah, say my name when no one is around you. You can play with this. You can play with this and accept it and just laugh and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So if you're experiencing that, experience it on your terms, not on their terms. Experience it on your terms. This is literally a lucid dream. Do what you want. Okay? Do what you want. You said, what about paranoid schizophrenia? Okay. So a lot of people experience that because they're paranoid naturally, and it elevated. It elevated because their frequency is elevated, and now that's what they're experiencing. So usually people that learn a lot, um they really are attracted to solving cases. They're really attracted to crimes and forensics and stuff like that because they have paranoia. So learning about those things eases their paranoia a little bit, because the more you fear something or the more you're paranoid about something, the more you learn about it eases that paranoia. So I would suggest people with paranoid schizophrenia start learning as much as they can about all those things: science, you know, forensics. They might like Sherlock Holmes and things like that. They could be attracted to all of those things like that. So if you're experiencing those things, you need to occupy yourself with things that relieve those feelings. It could be knowledge. You said the shift made you realize it's okay to have your own reality. It is. It literally is okay to have your own reality. It's literally okay to individualize how you treat yourself and how you view whatever it is that you feel you may be experiencing. Okay. And that's definitely okay. We don't all get we don't all get a massive diagnosis. Since we were our own judge, then we are our own creators as well. Okay. So we can create how we deal with things. We can create our reality. We can create our own delusion. And when we can do that, it's literally as if we're lucid dreaming in real life. We have that control now because we're on 5D and we have that reach. So use it. Don't accept what's given to you. Create what it is you want. Okay. You say you live on your own planet? I know, right? So um I believe that if people approached mental illness from a spiritual perspective and a more creative perspective and a more alchemical perspective, as far as transmuting things and creating what they want, and learning things that pertain to what you're reacting to, would definitely help, instead of just throwing them on medication. I mean, but a lot of people can't they don't have time to do that work, or help those type of people. So the fastest, easiest way to solve a problem is to mask the symptoms. And this is part of alchemy that, where alchemy, was infiltrated with what they call the puffers or the pharmacists who created, temporary um, cures. So if you want to do the great work, you have to put in work. Or you could take the shortcut and mask your symptoms and have to stay on the medication and never deal or change or create the world that you were supposed to with what you were given or what you gave to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and in the future, people are going to figure this out. Just like in the old days when people, had issues, they would take them to an insane asylum, tie them up, and do all this crazy stuff to them. But all they had was like some mold. They were experiencing have ingested mold. So we're going to come a long way mentally and spiritually, and a lot of people are going to look back at how we treat people who have quote unquote mental disorders now, and we're going to laugh and say all y'all had to do was do A, B, C, and D, and they would have been fine. So we're going to look back at this and laugh during this time because we just didn't have enough patience or listen to enough people that are in tuned and aware of what's going on, because they always have people ahead of their time. And whenever people finally figure it out, they go way back in time and said that person already knew. And so that literally what happens to this type of labeling. That's literally what's going to happen. I don't follow religion. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Religion to me is a box. There are lots of hidden knowledge. There's lots of hidden knowledge in the religious texts, but literally it is a box and a trap um, for people that um, don't have time or can't seek knowledge outside of what they were forced to believe in as a child. So I think with great freedom, you don't really need religion. You can refer to religious texts and find examples of things that also correlate with your own findings and beliefs. But I don't follow any type of religion because I feel like my essence and my being is older than religion. So why would I follow it if, first of all, it's man-made and very sexist? I wouldn't follow something like that. Okay, there I go. I'm not following something that is not beneficial to me. Right. Um, can I speak thoughts on transmutation? Transmutation is the best, one of my favorite forms of alchemy because you can turn something negative into something profitable. Okay. Taking a bad situation and getting paid off of it. Just like the people who started companies sewing masks and made a lot of money on Etsy, a lot of money online. They were selling masks and all types of designs and fabrics and whatever. They got their money. They took that time and flipped it and got paid. That's transmutation. Okay. Everybody got a facial mask somewhere. It's still in their house. So, taking something negative and getting paid. That's transmutation to me. Just like taking a mental disorder and describing it as a talent that can get you paid. Okay. Okay. And you have a lot of people who are deformed, who have physical disorders, who actually start social media accounts, embrace themselves, love who they are, show who they are with no shame, and got paid. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um, okay, Charlie, thanks for being a member. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate you. So that's what it is, you know. Disorder, it simply means chaos, right? And from chaos comes order when it's focused in the right direction or when it has a purpose. And when people find their purpose, instead of trying to put everybody in one box, instead of trying to train everyone at a school to be a worker, you know, if people were allowed to express themselves freely and not have to follow certain things, their disorder may not even impede their ability to create and find purpose. Okay. So, what about recurring nightmares and dreams and snakes, for example, deeper? To me, those are your fears that you need to face. Knowledge is represented by a snake. What knowledge do you fear? Or what is keeping you in fear? You need to learn about and gain wisdom with. Okay. You need to conquer your fears. Snakes represent wisdom and a rising frequency and a rising kundalini. So you either need to face all of your fears, deal with them, figure out how to get paid off your fears if you can. That's literally transmutation and get along with it. Like, okay, so the snakes are wisdom, power, energy. You need to get over your fears so that you can, you know, get your wisdom and your power, your energy. That's basically what it is. Okay, Lita, sprinkle, sprinkle. Hey, Shira, how do you combat the mental issues that come with third eye opening, or does it fix itself on its own? And why is this happening? Did you get tested when, you know, they stuck the thing up your nose? If you did, that was your third eye being activated. If you inhaled deeply because you couldn't breathe through a mask, every time you inhale super deep, there's a liquid right below, right here, that puts pressure on your pineal gland and activates it every time you take a super deep breath through your nostrils. So if that happened to you, your third eye was opening, and this is happening because everything that you were feeling and experiencing before that was pushed out into the real world and amplified. Okay, so if you had low self-esteem, your self-esteem went really bad once your third eye was activated. If you had high confidence, your confidence went way up. Okay, so if you had fears at that time, your fears were amplified. So depending on what you were feeling right before, you know, you may have gotten tested or whatever, then that's what you were going to experience. And it's not mental illness, it is simply you facing yourself in the mirror amplified. So, you need to see whatever it is inside of you that you are afraid of, that you have issues with, and you need to solve that from within. So, once it's solved, then and you start manifesting the life you actually want instead of focusing on, am I mentally ill? You need to focus on, what do I want? What do I want to see in my life? And that's going to start appearing. Okay. So if you focus on, you know, mental issues, that's what's going to keep coming out. So focus on what you want and how you want to be and manifest. And that's what you're going to start experiencing. And that's why it happened, because lots of people's pineal glands were activated unknowingly. So thank you for the donation. Um, You said religion is like repeating ninth grade and never graduated. Yeah, yeah, we don't want to do that. So I hope this helped a lot of people. I hope this made, you know, things a lot clearer as to what happened to you. And I hope that in the future you will be more aware and not fall for the okey doke if you don't have to. But like I said, some good came out of it. A lot of good came out of it as well. So If you're a very positive person and a healthy person naturally, then you probably had a decent experience. Okay. But if you didn't, then you probably had a bad experience. I missed your super chat. I thought I got it. Let me scroll back up. Okay. Okay, here we go. How you stop being bothered by people hating, trolling, and um, well, you see how I do it on my channel. I take whatever they throw at me and throw it back harder and make it funny. Um, you have like this is a good thing. Like you have to realize that you as an individual allow people to alter the way you feel about yourself. So if someone is trolling you, I don't take it seriously. I think it's funny. I laugh and say, "Oh, that was a good one, but here's a better one." You know, um, people hating on you. I don't see the hate. I see the recognition. I see you're looking at me because why wouldn't you? So I don't see people hating on me. I see people overly concerned with what I'm doing instead of being concerned about themselves, which means they're obviously not really hating, but very interested. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see hate. I see interest. I don't see trolling, you know. I see they want attention, so I'm gonna give it to them, and and make them laugh. So I don't see that. I don't even see it. So by not even seeing it or recognizing it as hate or trolling, it's already transmuted. Okay. So don't see it as that. Don't see people hating on you. Say, oh, you're interested in what I'm doing. Because people that aren't interested in you don't say anything. They don't even recognize or acknowledge. So for someone to take the time to hate on you, they recognize you. They don't like what you're doing because maybe they can't do it themselves. Okay. So that's how I do it. I really could like everything y'all like have experienced, transmute it the best way you can, even past memories if they bother you. Um, and sometimes I will give them the attention because if they're too afraid or insecure to ask for attention or they can't get your attention, they're going to say something mean or troll like to get your attention. And to me, that's sweet. You want my attention that bad? That is so sweet, baby. So I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you the same way you gave it to me, but mine's gonna be better because I'm amplified. Okay. Um, that's why. Yeah, I'm gonna give you your attention, but you might not like it. So, but it will be attention, and that's all you wanted, right? Okay, there you go. I would never disrespect you like all. Okay, okay. What's your name? Name is name. You would never disrespect me. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so if you don't send me Cash App right now, that's very disrespectful. Okay. So there go my Cash App at the bottom of the screen under my name. There you go. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I just transmuted your comment into money, you see? But I'm not serious. But I'm just giving an example of how you can transmute things. So now we were on my other channel. I would have expected that money. Okay. All right. But since we're over here, I'm just joking. You said, yeah, you serious? It's up to them as an individual what they want to do. There you go. I'm leaving it up to them. Y'all got to alkaline your body, go vegan. It will negate the fear ASAP. Yeah, I don't like to get into vegan talk a lot on this channel because then people will come by. Everybody not the same. Other people need different things. Da, 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 da. Everybody gonna come out with that conversation because they don't want to imagine life without meat. So I don't even get into that conversation anymore. And yes, not eating meat or dairy will definitely help you. And, good luck and to everyone else who, you know, don't feel that it will be helpful, but it is. Okay, hey love, 2 super chat messages posted and timed out. Okay. Thank you for the donation, Sprinkle Sprinkle. I don't see them because like let me scroll back up. Okay, I answered that one. Answered that one. Yeah, I don't see them. Okay, I think I answered most of them. You said you tried to go vegan, it was a challenge. Yeah, I was vegan. I was vegan before, 2020, so it wasn't a big deal for me. Um, and so are my kids because we all decided to go vegan before 2020 even happened. So our immune system was good. We didn't have any issues. Da 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 da. Yeah. Um, I don't even want to get to any conspiracies about meat and stuff. I don't care. I don't even eat it. That's for y'all meat eaters. Okay. Um, so I'm not here to argue about what you eat, but I'm gonna tell you, if your frequency is high and your third eye is activated and you're feeding on certain things that lower your immune system, it's going to be amplified. That's all I'm going to say. So, if you eat food that scientifically lowers your immune system, that's going to be amplified. So, just understand it with science. Okay. That's all. Right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So, think about food that way. This is going to lower my immune system or heighten it. Then that's how I'm going to choose to eat. That's how we should choose to eat. Is this good for me or bad for me? Because it's going to be amplified when I put it in his body. When I put it in this metaverse, it's going to be amplified. So, what am I eating? Am I eating health? Am I eating life? Am I eating good immunity? Am I eating beauty? Or am I eating ugly? you know? So, am I eating something that's good for my skin or bad for my skin? Because it's going to be amplified. How many of y'all had a bunch of pimples and broke out during this time or 2020 and whatnot? How many people got bumps and whatnot? How many people had skin eruptions? We'll call it pimples. More so than normal before that. Okay. A lot of people may experience that too. But you don't have to live life only eating boring, healthy foods. You can balance it out. Okay. That's the best thing I can tell you. Or eat very little of it. There you go. Your skin actually been clearing up. 2020 was a bad year for your skin, though. Yeah. A lot of people had skin issues during 2020. And if you think about it, that's when a lot of skin companies started putting certain things into skincare. Um, and a lot of skincare stuff started selling major around 2020, right? Um, the hyaluronic acid, the face scrubbers, the face mask that you put on your skin, like all that went like crazy. And so a lot of the things that you put into your body and a lot of things that cause, skin issues were magnified at that time. So that's why a lot of y'all are experiencing that as well. And so now like my skin is very clear, like nothing. And I used to have, stuff popping up during that time, but it's gone. Look, look. Whoop. Very nice. I'm just like, yes. It says skincare became very trendy and pricey. Yes, because they had to combat that amplified, the amplified toxins being released through your skin, through your diet or the habits that you had. What about dairy? Dairy is, yeah, dairy is bad. It has a lot of bad things in there. It's toxic, first of all. Number one, it is toxic to your body. So your body has to work overtime to even process and digest dairy. It's bad for your kidneys and everything. So imagine dairy as a poison. And every time you eat it, your body has to figure out how to get rid of this toxin. And so it has to work harder, and it has to be filtered through your kidneys and all this kind of stuff. And it is a toxin. So mucus, yes. They have dairy alternatives now. They have oat milk, coconut milk, almond milk, all of that. You don't need dairy milk anymore from a cow. So anything that is toxic to you would have been amplified during that time. Okay. And dairy causes mucus buildup in your body and your lungs. Yes, in your body and your lungs. Mucus buildup, toxic. So think about that. Vegan cheese is fine because it's not dairy. Does it cause mucus? When I stopped eating dairy, my skin totally improved. I had 0 to, very, very little mucus. I never had phlegm. I never got sick. I never had, nothing like that. I don't cough up them nasty Louis y'all be coughing up. There's not no snot and stuff in my nose. I don't have nothing when I wake up in the morning. There's not no gross stuff in my throat. None of that. It's gone. For years, I don't have it. So that comes from dairy. Okay. A lot of singers do not eat dairy because of that. It gets in their lungs and stuff. They can't sing good because of all the mucus buildup. A lot of singers won't eat dairy. Okay. And there's so many alternatives now that taste really good, so you don't have to eat it unless you want to. Okay. We all have a choice. Remember, free will is now here. They're going to give you choices. And just like the last time you had choices. Now listen to this. So we had choices of what we wanted to eat. We had choices of how we wanted, if we wanted to get tested or not. We had choices whether we wanted to get stuck or not. We had choices, but the media will make it seem as if you don't have a choice. But we always have options and choices and warnings. We always have options, choices, and warnings. Because of what the masses are doing does not mean you have to do it, because you still have an option and a choice. Because learning about something, getting more information about something can literally save your life. Okay, there you go. um, Vegan cheese tastes best melted. So I think Daya starts with the D. That's the best kind that I've found. That melts really good. And I think Chow or Cow, COA, I don't know how to spell it. It starts with a C. Those are the best vegan cheeses that I found. Like cashew cheeses, yes. So I know Target carries a lot of vegan cheese and vegan foods and products. If y'all are trying to, go vegan, they have all the alternatives. They got ice cream, yogurt, vegan ice cream, and the cashew milk and the cashew ice cream taste, and the oat ice cream and the oat milk taste closest to real milk. It's very thick. And so you're able to get that same viscosity as you would have. Okay, there you go. Um, why are ex-vegans now carnivore? Because that's what they chose to be. Remember, we all have free will. You could do whatever you want. And I don't really care if people are vegan or carnivores. I don't care. That's not my concern. My concern is my body and my children. So whatever y'all do is y'all's free will. That's all I can say, because um, we all have our own mind and we all have our own choices and decisions to make. And whatever decision that you're going to make is literally up to you as an individual. I don't want to take away people's freedom of food, like we don't want our freedom of speech being taken away. So it's up to you to do what you choose. Okay. Um, yeah, and I don't discriminate. Believe me, my husband still eats meat. So I don't discriminate. I don't cook it. I don't cook no meat, but I don't care if you eat it. It's not my problem. Okay. Yeah, you do what you want. Um, everyone was scared to cough in public. I know, I remember I was scared to sneeze and cough. It was hilarious. It's like, oh, my throat dry. It was dusty in here, making up all types of excuses of doing a normal act of the human body. You had cough drops in your purse like it was no tomorrow, just so you wouldn't cough, even if you didn't have a cough. You take a cough drop anyway. You're like, I ain't finna cough ever. Down in them cough drops because you like, I can't cough. My throat feel itchy. I need to take a cough drop so I don't even try to cough. Drinking a lot of tea. It's like, nope. So, yeah. Like I get high iron through my diet because I eat a lot of iron-rich vegetables. And so, and then take vitamins and stuff. So I'm probably get more iron than I did when I ate meat, because I never ate red meat since I was 19. I haven't eaten red meat since I was 19 years old. So I didn't have that in me anyway. I didn't eat pork. I didn't eat beef since I was 19. And so I was only eating like poultry and seafood. So it was very easy to give, it was easier to give up only two types of meat versus four types of meat. Mhm. Um, Now people are acting like it never happened. Exactly. Isn't that beautiful? But like a lot of people are now in therapy and on medications for mental disorders because they don't know what happened to them, or they went back to Jesus. Uh-oh, Letha. Sorry you wasn't caught up in the live. Thank you for answering. I mentally feel like I'm in the twilight zone. Life doesn't feel real to me, so it's hard to manifest when I'm so dislocated. Okay, just know this. Your third eye was activated. You didn't know it. Now, what you feed yourself is what is going to be presented in the quote unquote twilight zone. So feed yourself knowledge, feed yourself prosperity, feed yourself abundance, feed yourself the life you want to see in your twilight zone. Okay. This is your time to create the life that you want. So, what do you want to see in your life? Instead of mentally feeling like this isn't real or, disassociated, why don't you start putting in what you want to see? For example, get you a manifestation book, get a little journal, get a diary, order one from my store. I don't know. And write down what it is that you are already thankful for, even if you don't have it yet. Write down what you already have, even if you don't have it yet. Write down what you want to see, even though you don't see it yet. And it's going to come out and be seen. Okay. Take advantage of this time. Be in your own delusion and create it. Because once the frequency is lowered back down, it's not going to happen as easily as it is going to happen now. So take advantage of this time. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um, that's all you got to do. Flip it and make it work for you. That's all you got to do. It's your time, magic time. Okay. Can you choose not to reincarnate on Earth? Um, I feel like that's up to you. Like, honestly, let's say you don't want to reincarnate back on Earth. Are you going to reincarnate anywhere, or are you just going to be in the void or part of everything? You know, your energy does not die. So where is it going? Ask yourself that first. Where do you want to reincarnate if you choose to at all? That's the question. My opinion is so many beings are trying to incarnate on Earth now. So imagine that. Why? Hey, y'all, hit the like button. Can you talk more about the vitamins and supplements you take? I also sent a cash out earlier. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh, thank you. Chioma, appreciate you. As a vegan, thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. She sent me a nice cash out. I take vegan collagen. They have little pills. You can order them on Amazon. Vegan collagen. And just a multivitamin. And I also like spirulina or kelp, because that helps with like any type of mucus in your body, any type of like the kelp and the spirulina help with any type of yeast, fungus, mucus in your body. It gets rid of it. The collagen, the vegan collagen, helps your bones and joints and, skin and all that kind of great stuff. And just the multivitamin gives you all the stuff that you probably don't get in your regular diet. So that's all I'm really taking. And um, I try to take it every day, but sometimes I forget. They also have it in smoothie or shake form that you can get and mix in a little drink if you don't like taking pills. So it's perfectly good way to get your supplements, vitamins, veggies, and collagen in a drink. You said some people putting you down just make you go harder for what you want. I don't look at that's true, but I don't look at people as putting me down. I look at people as, um, like if you're experiencing people putting you down, it's because they don't want you to rise above them. They're afraid of their position if you keep going in your direction. You know what I mean? So it's just their insecurity. You said if you live correctly, earth can literally be heaven on earth. That's correct. If you're very confident in yourself, that's going to be magnified. If you're good at what you do, that's going to be magnified. A lot of people are talking about money and resetting the economy and all this kind of stuff. When 2020 happened, America was in debt. So y'all think about that. When 2020 happened, America was in debt. Right? So that was amplified. And the reason why they elected Donald Trump as president during this particular time is because his name meaning is Donald means world leader. And Trump means win, victory, or, Trump card. I'm a win. So as America was going through this mass awakening and their president who presided over the country was a winner by name, and the last president, they called him the last president, is because, and he was a businessman and he's about his money, even though A lot of the things that he did and said was controversial. So is America. America is very controversial to other countries in this world, believe me. Okay. So he was literally the representation of America as what it is today. And his name still represents world leader victory. And since we were all going through this third eye activation all at the same time during 2020, it still had to be known. America got that ego. We don't care. We might be going through something, but we gonna come out on top, period. And so the whole thing now about, money and the dollar and all this kind of stuff, get more. Amplify it, baby. Amplify it. Don't worry about what the dollar is worth. Get more dollars, you know, because that's not the focus. The value of a dollar is not the focus. How much your dollars add up to, that might be more important. So figure out how to get more. That's it. It's just like, think about this. If something went on sale and it's half price or 40% off or 30% off, you're usually just going to buy more because you can afford it and it's a great deal, right? So think of it this way. If the dollar is losing its value, then you just get more. And it's so easy to get money these days online without even leaving your house. So easy to start a business, so easy to do this, so easy to do that. So just figure it out. That's what this time is for, to make yourselves more efficient in how to think and get your own money. You know, um, think about how you can get more, several streams of income. Okay, that's it. Pretty much it. You said, what if people can't get more? Then they're not thinking. They're not using their brain as it should be used. Okay, because anybody can create another stream of income with no problem. I mean, think about this. Immigrants who come here from other countries step right into earning money, step right into owning a business, step right into entrepreneurship. The land of opportunity has made some of us, you know, blind to opportunity. That's all I'm going to say. And when your third eye is open and you are aware, you see opportunity everywhere. So if your third eye was not activated, or if your frequency wasn't as high as it should have been when your third eye was activated, and you don't see several ways to get paid everywhere you look, maybe you need to reactivate that third eye, but focus on how to make money while you're doing it, or you need to manifest on how to get paid while you're doing it. All right. And think of creative ways to do it, not in the box, but outside the box. That's what this time is for, to free yourselves. Um, okay. It means look up the meaning of it. If you keep saying something, look it up, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um, why compete when you broke too? There's nothing to compete for. And this is what we need to stop doing. Stop competing. There's nothing to compete against. Remember Donald Trump, world leader victory? We already won. Who are you competing against? Okay. Stop competing. This is the distraction. Stop competing. Get your money. Who are you competing against? Mhm. Okay. There is no competition. There is just you and your own mind and how you going to get this money. That's literally it. Um, you said what, when you die, what's going to be the afterlife, or whatever you want it to be. What do you feel like the afterlife is? It's going to be amplified. You create your own afterlife. How about that? So that's why I don't do religion. I do, you know, personalized spiritual journeys. So what do you want your afterlife to be? There is this movie called What May Come, like Dreams of What May Come or something. And I think it had Robin Williams in it and Cuba Gooding Jr. And he died, and his afterlife was like all this weird stuff. But when he realized he could create what he want in that afterlife, then he was like, oh, great, you know. So it's what you want it to be. You create it. Get you a pen and paper and write down what you want it to be. You know, who you want to be there, who you want to see, who you want to, and just because they're not, you know, just because people aren't in the reality of the afterlife yet, don't mean that they won't be there eventually. And if you take the concept of time away, past, present, and future won't exist. So you'll always have the people you love. Okay. So think about it like that. Think about creating an afterlife, but as an alchemist. Okay. That's your homework. Go create your afterlife on paper as an alchemist, as a thinker, as a person that has control over their pen, and you're creating. And think of it as a lucid dream. What do you want to see there? Okay. Cloud atlas. Okay, yes. So you create your own afterlife, just like you judge yourself by how you treat yourself, what you put in your body. You create your own life by afterlife and spiritual experience by what you know and practice and accept spiritually. Okay. But that's what the ancient Egyptians did. Exactly. They painted it on the wall, and they have the sarcophagus, and they have all these hieroglyphs and spells for the afterlife carved on sarcophagi and on the walls and things like that. So your energy, or your spirit and your soul, when it gets ready to go to the afterlife, it remembers and it witnesses and it sees these symbols of what it can create. So that's true. Thank you, Miss Theory. So um afterlife is full of, prosperity and riches and whatever you want it to be. So you are the creator of your own afterlife. And if you can't create your own afterlife, if your afterlife is black and white, heaven and hell, and you judge yourself, or you didn't treat yourself the way you're supposed to be treating yourself, like if you talk down to yourself, if you are a negative person, if you have fear for everything, you're literally going to go to that experience, but magnified for a long time. So treat yourself good, love yourself, have confidence within, treat your body good by what you put in it, take care of, yourself, and that's going to be how you start to, create in this world as well as the next. Mhm. We all create whether we know it or not. You want to become a deliberate creator. That's right. On purpose. Okay. On purpose. You said you're Muslim, you believe in heaven and hell, also repentance. There's nothing you can't redeem yourself from. Exactly. So I don't like that's good if you don't have a start or your own spiritual, knowledge. But to me, heaven is your creation. And hell is also your creation. So if you want to think of it like that, then there's your loophole. Um, Anything you do, any mistakes that you make can be corrected. So that's the same thing. You can correct your words, your way of thinking, and your view of self and your view of reality. So it's literally saying the same thing, but it's more in black and white. So unless you have the colors to fill it in, unless you can find the loopholes within that statement, unless you can see the creativity that you can use to create heaven or to create hell, is up to you. So I see the creativity. I see you can create all of that, and to redeem yourself is to correct yourself when you have the chance and the knowledge and the opportunity to. So if you were doing something that was detrimental to your health, detrimental to your psyche, detrimental to your spirituality, when your third eye was activated and open, or you became aware of it, you can correct it and fix it. That is redemption, redemption of self. So fix the problems. and then create your own heaven. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um, if you don't see a problem and you embrace whatever it is with a smile, and if you've transmuted it to create positivity or prosperity in your life, then so be it. Great. Some religions and spiritualities don't even have a heaven or hell. They just have a place where you just create whatever you want. So you don't have the option. You just what you want. Here you go. Go ahead, have fun. Say life is but a dream, but a lucid dream. So create it. Some people get stuck because they fear. They can't think positive about themselves. They can't fathom that they're a god or a goddess and they can create their own reality. And so they get stuck. We have to think higher if we're vibrating higher. We can't think like a human anymore. We have to think like a god and goddess because we're on that vibration. So if you're a god or goddess and you're still thinking on a scale of a human, you're going to stay stuck. If you're watching the human news, watching the human limits, watching the human experience, when you're on God status and goddess status, as far as your frequency is concerned, it's like you're studying for a chemistry test with a book from the kindergarten. It's not going to help you. So you have to come out of that human thinking and get into divine thinking. Divine thinking doesn't have limits. Divine thinking is very creative and can create whatever it wants. Human thinking is limited. So if your frequency has been raised to God status, then you must think like that. If you don't, then you're going to feel stuck. So embrace who you are. Embrace your frequency. How do you reactivate the third eye? I have a video linked that I actually did yesterday. Thank you, Kenya. Right in the description at the very top. You click on that and it will give you very good details. But just in a nutshell, breath work, and it's explained in the video. And it was massively activated here because the breath work actually allows your inhalation through your nostrils to put pressure on a point right beneath your pineal gland that builds up a fluid and pushes through as an electromagnetic field and heightens your awareness and your frequency and opens your third eye through extensive breath work. But it was massively activated with a cotton swab during 2020 for a lot of people. And if y'all know what I mean, who got tested, it was massively activated. And everything that was within you, whether it was physically ill or, issues, self-doubt, it all came out. And so I don't recommend opening your third eye unless you are positive about yourself, unless you are physically well and physically taking care of yourself. If your immune system is high, and all of that, because everything that's inside is going to be pushed outside and amplified. So make sure you're living your best life before you do it, or the best life you can live, and then it will be amplified. Okay. And also make sure you have some money, because once it's amplified, your attention span is not going to be what it used to be. So you need to have some money saved in case you can't work if you work for other people. If you work for yourself, then probably not a problem. Okay. Because you can take your time and do things at your own pace without a boss. There you go. Okay, and I'm gonna get into one more thing before I go because I'm leaving in a second. Okay, your son was born on Donald Trump birthday, what would you say that means? I always see his birthday everywhere. Do the numerology. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Appreciate you, girl. Do the numerology on that date and see what you come up with. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's like for you to know, and so just do the numerology. Um, the types of food you eat also make you vibrate on a higher level. That's true. So, whether you were in a place to live your best life or not, people were massively scared into running to a testing site, free test. No one gives anything away for free. That should have been the number one indicator to turn around and go back to your house. Because when people start giving out free stuff, you should get real suspicious. Real suspicious. When people giving out free stuff, don't take it. Okay? Like, you're not giving me nothing for free. I don't want it. If it's free, y'all are using all this medical equipment, y'all are using all this stuff, testing stuff, and it's free. Why isn't the rape test, the rape kit's free? Why aren't forensic testing free? I'm sus because my third eye been open and I see you. So I'm not taking no free test. I'm not taking no free nothing. No free jab, no free test. Y'all keep that. I'm already good. So you said our tax dollars. Our tax dollars could go to other stuff that is more important. But I understand why they did it, to shift us all to a higher frequency at the same time, or the massive cleanse or the rapture. That's what they're going to call it, or the purge, whatever you want to call it, or the great awakening, whatever you want to call it. So in order to shift all those people at the same time, everyone had to go get activated so that the frequency of the planet can also rise. If the people in the planet frequency rises, then so does the planet. So there you go. But a lot of people, like, if you think about how you felt during that time when a lot of fear was being put into you, and what made you do what you had to, what made you do what you did was literally just fear, you know? And so fear controls. That's why that's why you have to get rid of it. So you can't be controlled. I will tell you one more time. Fear is used to control. If you have no fears and you know that you're good because you made it a point to be healthy, to not put certain things into your body and to live a certain way, you don't have those concerns. So when something happens like it did, you don't rush to get tested, or you don't rush to get stuck out of fear, because you can't fear something that you're very knowledgeable about, okay? And that you know a lot about. And so a lot of people did not understand that dairy causes mucus. A lot of people didn't understand that eating certain foods lower your frequency and your immune system. A lot of people that did not understand that, you know, you can't do certain things and still expect to be healthy, like smoke cigarettes, drink a bunch of alcohol, and da 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 da. A lot of people continued their bad habits and it amplified. Okay. A lot of people didn't realize, okay, I need some coconut oil. I need some spirulina. I need to stop eating dairy and switch out to some dairy-free milk. They didn't realize this. And so they kept feeding an amplified, lowered immune system. And that's why a lot of people got sick. But guess what? The people that knew were feeding a immune system to get better. And so they never got sick. They never needed to get tested, and they never needed to get stuck for any kind of, whatever. They never needed any of it because fear did not run them. They ran themselves, and they valued themselves. Even biblically, it says your body is a temple and a treasure. you need to take care of it as if it is precious. That's it, So, take care of yourself. Your body is literally a temple. Um, so keep that in mind. If you take better care of your car than you do your body, you have an issue. Just think about it like that. Can the stick affect you if you don't believe? I don't know. I'm not putting nothing foreign in my body, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I mean, especially if it's free. I don't know, baby. I can't tell you because I didn't take it. I have no idea if y'all might want to discuss that, the people who took it. But if it's free, I'm not taking it. Okay. That's a red flag to me. All right. Remember, free will, things given away free. There's no such thing as free. So think about it like that. There's no such thing as free. So I don't know. Maybe it was something to lower the frequencies again, to get people back to normal because they were trying to regress it. I don't know. I can't tell you because I haven't experienced it. So ask someone who's experienced it and that's maybe thinking about this type of thing and see what they say. Okay. So if you treat your car better than you treat your body, you might want to change that up. There you go. All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm getting ready to go. If y'all have any last minute questions, I got like 5 minutes left. Yeah, but then I gotta go. You said it feels like a rapture in a new world to me. Yeah. Basically, everybody's pineal gland got activated around roughly at the same time, and we all vibrated at a certain high level, and then the planet vibrated at a certain high level, and then we went to a higher dimension and level of thinking. Okay, that's what it is. Everybody who got stuck in the nose got their pineal gland activated. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle, massively on a grand scale. You said you feel that shot was to take away people's gifts. I have no idea. I don't know because I can't tell you. I mean, I can't tell because I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know who got it or not. Because to me, I feel like just keep thinking freely and outside the box. That's the best advice I can give about that. Just keep thinking freely and outside the box. Transmute whatever it is, and whatever it could be. All this mental. So I definitely suggest using transmutation and mental ways to get around anything that might not be for your best interest. hmm Can we just talk about these extreme weather changes and do you think it has anything to do with climate? No, I think extreme weather. Okay, so weather is created now. It's sprayed. It's literally created. They're still working on the science and trying to get it correct. In my opinion, before all of this happened, there was a cleansing of the atmosphere as well. And a lot of greenhouse effect was let out of the planet. And because, of course, we had a lot of pollution, but the ionosphere was the ozone and the ionosphere, there was like a hole for the greenhouse gases, a lot of them to escape, which is what makes the clouds and the rain and the precipitation. So once it formed back, we have technology to cloud seed and spray clouds. And at first, you could tell it didn't look right. You heard them planes going in the morning. And so they had to, you know, figure out how to get it correct. They might have sprayed too much one day and it started raining and flooding. They might have sprayed too little and then, it didn't rain. And so they're trying to figure out the technology still. They're still in the phases of trying to cloud seed correct in the correct manner. And in places where there used to be a lot of drought, there's now a lot of flooding and raining because people can control the weather. And so once you control the weather, you control you can't really control a lot of other things that go along with creating, clouds, because sometimes certain atmospheres don't mix. So they're trying to tweak that and figure that out. You said weather warfare, and not everything is warfare. Come on now. If you think it, so it will be. What I see is people trying to figure out how to perfect weather um, creation. If you read the book of Enoch, they even talk about machines that create weather and machines that create clouds and winds. This has already been foretold. They already had this technology and now it's resurfacing. So if you read the book of Enoch, it does talk about weather machines, machines that create weather, chemicals and all this type of stuff, mists and clouds that are created. So you have to understand that a lot of this is not what you think it is. It is man-made. Okay? And the fear and the lack of knowledge is what will lead you into creating your reality with weather warfare. So you have to stop thinking everything is against you, but instead thinking everything is for you. Okay, that is number one. If you're one of those people that fear and think everything is a war against you, that's what you're going to create in your reality. What you don't want to do, that's not what you want to do. You want to say they're trying to fix it, but they're having a little time fixing it because this is new to these scientists. Okay. They have to get the swing of it. They got to get the hang of it. Okay. So when you're able to think like that, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Okay. And remember, they do make movies to instill fear. They do put things on the media to instill fear. But it is up to you as a creator of your own reality to transmute any fear with knowledge and your own positive spin on it. Okay. Mhm. Why do they want to control the weather? What's the point? Okay, so the reason why they want to control the weather, because I told you, like, I literally have photos in my phone of there's a section where a lot of the clouds were literally sucked out of whatever this atmosphere is because there was a hole, right? And when the frequency of the planet goes up, the heat of the earth goes up, right? And so if the more water and frequency and, you know, precipitation that's in the earth also heats up, which is causing a lot of issues. So they had to let some of it out or get rid of some of it and then recreate it, because when they were planning to raise the frequency of the planet, the earth was going to get a lot warmer due to our increased frequency. So they had to literally just release some air out of the balloon because they were getting ready to blow it up even more. Just think about it like that. And a lot of that precipitation that was taken away could not reform itself fast enough because it's been here for millions or thousands of years, who knows. So they have to use cloud seeding to recreate it on this planet. And so they haven't perfected it yet because they haven't had to use it until recently. And so it's a whole new science to them. So they're trying to figure it out. Um, mhm. They're doing a better job with the clouds, though. They look more real. And by cloud seeding, it's also allowing the atmosphere to recreate itself as well. It's like, how when they have new neighborhoods and they throw that green stuff on the dirt and then, it's grass seeding. And so it regrows the grass. So you got to think about it like that. Don't think everything is a war. That's a very negative concept. If you think everything is a war, you're going to see everything as a war. If you think everything is against you, you're going to amplify that. So don't do it. That's why some people live as if they can't catch a break, and some people live as if they are the luckiest people on the planet because it's how you think. So if I think everything is for me and for my benefit and for the benefit of my family, then that's the reality I'm creating. If I think everything is a war and everything is against me, that's the reality that is going to get created. But I don't think that way. No, everything is for me, period. Think like that. That is how alchemy works. You have to know what is for you. What's for me? Everything that's beneficial and and prosperous, that's what's for me. Um, so don't look for things to be against you. Look for things to be for you. It may not look like you think it should look right now, but maybe it's in the works. Okay. That's all you have to do. Turn that around. Um, and I can equate that to having a lot of background information. Like if I read the Book of Enoch and read about weather making machines written thousands of years ago, I mean, it's easy for me to put it together, you know. But if you never read that book and you didn't realize that weather machines existed or were predicted or whatever you want to call it, maybe you feel like they created it to create war. But if you are seeing it from a different perspective, it's not, you know. And just like every new creation or every recreation, there's going to be flaws in the process of making it until they can get all the kinks out. That's literally it. Um, all right. Well, thank y'all so much. I'm getting ready to go. Thank you. I finally got a new camera. I hope y'all like it. And I got a new system. And thank y'all for supporting me. Y'all make it possible. Thank y'all for listening. I hope this helped a lot of you. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Bye.